Mackenzie Johnston with Cattle News Central, bringing you your March 1st cattle industry headlines, brought to you by AgRisk Advisors. They provide risk management programs to livestock producers all across the West. Whether you are concerned about price or weather risk, AgRisk Advisors, they are here to help. With current day market fluctuations, you and I both know there is nothing more important than locking in a price floor on your cattle. So if you'd like to learn more about an LRP, reach out to an advisor today. Also sponsored by American Beef Producer Magazine. They offer in-depth articles on a wide variety of topics within our industry. They feature award-winning photography and so much more within their publication. American Beef Producer Magazine, guiding beef producers for over 25 years. And finally, Circle 5 Cow School. If you are wanting to learn how to preg check your own cows or start AIing, Circle 5 Cow School is the way to go. Almost every week, they are hosting classes somewhere between Texas and Tennessee. If you'd like to check out their schedule, head on over to their website, circle5cowschool.com. That is the number 5 in there. Or you can go ahead and just give them a follow on their Facebook page. According to MarketWatch, the Federal Reserve's inflation calculator rose by 0.6% in January, the largest increase that we have seen since 1982. In the past year, the inflation gauge has climbed 6.1%, the fastest rate since February of 1982. As inflation continues to spiral out of control, companies are jacking up prices to cover their own costs, their own rising costs, and of course, they are passing this on to consumers. Originally, economists and the Fed predicted that inflation would subside later this year as persistent labor and supply shortages came to an end. But all that changed last week when Russia invaded Ukraine. With this move, oil prices surged and will continue to move upward, and inflation will most likely worsen in the short term, according to analysts. According to University of Adelaide researcher in biomedicine, Dr. Wang-Peng Yu, humans have evolved and thrived over millions of years thanks to significant consumption of meat. Finally, some research that is positive when it comes to meat consumption. The study, which was published in the International Journal of General Medicine, examined the overall health effects of total meat consumption in more than 70 countries around the world. Researchers discovered that the consumption of energy from carbohydrate crops does not lead to greater life expectancy. Instead, total meat consumption correlates to greater life expectancy. These findings are independent of the competing effects of total calorie intake, economic influence, urban advantages, and obesity. Meat from small and large animals provided optimal nutrition to our ancestors who developed genetic, physiological, and morphological adaptations to eating meat products, and we have inherited those adaptations. The study revealed that meat has a number of components that contribute to overall health, which we all know, and without it, there is a good chance that humans would not be able to thrive. In conclusion, the study stated that meat eating is beneficial to human health provided that it is consumed in moderation and that the meat industry is conducted in an ethical way. According to a new UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, delaying response to climate crisis will make its impact even worse. The report claims climate change is already causing widespread dangerous disruptions in nature and also affecting billions of lives. You know what's affecting billions of lives? The fact that we have a tyrannical dictator, Putin, invading Ukraine, and he is essentially a loose cannon, and God knows if he's going to continue to just keep on going west and go right into those NATO countries, or what his next plans are. So I find it absolutely ridiculous that there is a report that is released during a time when the world could be facing the reality of nuclear war. And we're focusing on climate change? Absolutely ridiculous. So the report goes on to say that the world faces unavoidable multiple climate hazards over the next decades with global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius. One expert in the report went as far as saying climate change is a grave and mounting threat to our well-being and a healthy planet. If climate change is ignored, heat waves, drought, and floods will increase, gravely impacting our environment. To solve these issues, the report states that we must conserve 30 to 50% of the Earth's land, freshwater, and ocean habitats. But in order to make this happen, there must be adequate finance, and political support. Again, the fact that we have, over the past few years, not just in this moment with this report, over the past few years, spent so much time focusing on climate change. That is what has gotten us here to where we are today, possibly facing World War III. What is going on over there with Russia invading Ukraine? This is the biggest thing that has happened since World War II. And the fact that our governments around the world have been basically dilly-dallying around with this environmental stuff, it's a sham. And like I said, that is what has brought us to where we are today. Here in America, we are incredibly sustainable. We take care of our environment. We do everything they say. And we've even went as far as importing our gas and oil needs. You know, we could easily be self-sufficient when it comes to energy needs, but no, we import it. We've shut off our coal, our oil. We've done all of that. And where has that left us today? We are still buying gas and oil from Russia, from a country that invaded Ukraine. We are still buying oil and gas from them. Let that sink in, just to make sure that we are keeping all of our environmentalists happy and we continue to travel down this road of the Green New Deal. Absolutely ridiculous. Bloomberg has reported that last week a $200 million loan for Marfrig Global Foods South America fell apart due to growing concern that Brazil's second largest beef producer is fueling deforestation in the Amazon. The Inter-American Development Bank's private sector arm shelved the plan to lead the syndicated loan after a series of setbacks. The loan was announced in April of 2021 to fund Marfrig's plan to strengthen the sustainability of its beef supply chain. Activist groups, including Friends of the Earth, pressured the bank to abandon the loan, claiming that if the financial institution went forward with the loan, it would violate the bank's sustainability policies. But according to Marfrig and its biggest competitor, JBS South America, the company set the highest standards for the cattle suppliers and for their cattle suppliers, and are committed to ridding their supply chains of animals born or raised on deforested land. However, a Bloomberg investigation published last month discovered the companies are working with a legal system so full of loopholes that prosecutors, environmentalists, and even ranchers themselves consider it a sham. Amazon deforestation is now at a 15-year high, with more than 70% of illegally cleared land turning into pasture to graze animals. Finally, Reuters reported yesterday, February 28th, that live cattle futures fell to their lowest level in more than a month due to uncertainty over Russia's invasion of Ukraine, according to analysts. And feeder cattle futures, they fell to their lowest price since November. That is all I have for you guys this morning. You guys have yourselves a terrific Tuesday. I'll catch you later.